What is ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by developmentally inappropriate levels of inattention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity that cause impairment in day-to-day life. ADHD is caused by abnormalities in the chemical messengers, also known as neurotransmitters, in the brain. Simply put, the brain operates at a slower than average pace in the areas of impulse control and attention focus. Typically in kids, ADHD looks like difficulties in social and play situations, which can often lead to antisocial and mental health issues in the future. Three to 5% of the school-age population have been seen as displaying the characteristics of ADHD. Unfortunately, when it comes to diagnosis of these characteristics, boys are 9 times more likely to be assessed for ADHD than girls. But in the actual world, after diagnoses are confirmed, the ratio between boys and girls ends up being more like 3 boys to every 1 girl. Diagnoses. There are 3 different types of symptoms. The first type is inattention, which manifests in things like being easily distracted by stimuli that others would easily ignore. Also, ADHD symptoms include having difficulty sustaining attention in tasks or play activities, also not listening when spoken to directly, and being forgetful in daily activities, which then leads to poor organization in tasks. The second category for types of symptoms for ADHD is hyperactivity. Here, individuals leave their seats in the classroom or in other situations in which remaining seated is expected. They run about or climb excessively in inappropriate situations, and students are always on the go or acting as if they were driven by a motor, and even talking excessively. Category for symptom types is impulsivity. This is where individuals blurt out answers before the question has been completed. They have difficulty waiting for their own turn, and they interrupt and intrude on others' conversations and time. Because the symptoms are different for every child, and because there is no foolproof way of testing for ADHD, the condition often goes undiagnosed even up until adulthood, when situations change and the symptoms at this point become more conclusively demonstrated. Whichever category of the symptoms that the individual falls into, they must present these characteristics in a variety of settings. They must also persist over at least 6 months, and they must have been observed prior to age 7 for the diagnoses to be made. The school classroom is one of the major places for identifying the characteristics of ADHD in a child. ADHD can manifest itself in all aspects of the classroom, but there are specific areas that are most often affected. Reading, writing, and mathematics represent 3 of the major areas. Children with ADHD have a tendency to have poor grades and lower scores on standardized tests, and greater likelihood of being identified as special needs. they also have an increased use of school-based services compared to students without the disorder. Oftentimes, in the classroom, students can conceptualize but not analyze, preferring the big picture. Students also have difficulty filtering out the relevant parts of information. Students may also have difficulty with transitions and appear unorganized and even forgetful. They might also come to a conclusion too hastily or work at a different pace than what is expected, which often affects the quality of the schoolwork. And although they may not be able to stop their behaviors by weighing the consequences, students with ADHD really are not deliberately misbehaving. There are many ways that teachers can help their students struggling with ADHD symptoms. One of these strategies is using antecedents, or proactive prevention ideas, in the classroom. These include the implementation of classroom rules that are known to every student and posted on the walls for all to see. They tell students what to do, not just what not to do, and they are drawn upon throughout the year. Another area for antecedent use is in making modifications to assignments that are prescriptive of the student's attention ability. Teachers doing this often incorporate praise for the student and create an atmosphere that fosters success. The following are some strategies put forward by the BC Ministry of Education. Teachers should structure classroom activities that require active learning and higher response rates from students. Some things that teachers could do in using this strategy are providing students with an outline of the day, also providing students with individual outlets for their ideas such as whiteboards or sticky notes, and they create partner activities so that students can use individual interpretation strategies. And lastly, they might use a multifaceted approach to student products so that students' knowledge can be displayed. We can also teach students organization skills that will help them to complete assignments. Such strategies might include teacher-made organization systems for binders, making sure that students' organization systems are all the same throughout the class, using commonplace in the classroom for assignments both current and past to be posted, and providing checklists for the various daily and yearly expectations. We can also use strategies to maximize positive interactions with students and minimize opportunities for disruptive behavior. In this practice, teachers might move around the classroom during instruction, provide immediate feedback on learning and behavior whenever possible. They also might use relationships in the classroom to enhance learning possibilities, maybe positively reinforce the good things in the class whenever possible, and also be sensitive with the negatives. Teachers should provide multisensory instruction. They might use songs to teach content, use multiple ways of representing to display thinking in assignments. They also might use hands-on learning activities and provide times where students get to move for a reason, like in drama. Technology can also aid in individuals not being distracted by using things like music or even headphones. Overall, we as teachers need to switch our thinking and make sure that we focus on the needs of the student instead of making the challenge the centermost aspect of our thoughts. ADHD is something that students are going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. We as teachers can take the opportunity to show them that they can succeed, or we can fault them for being different. Obviously, these strategies would seek to help the student overcome their challenges and proactively the teacher can make a lasting impact on the student's academic life.